So I picked this thing up, I think it was the beginning of November, or no. I picked this thing up in the beginning of September from Copart. After fees and everything at Copart, it came out to like $1,200. I bought a new radiator for it, bought a new cooling fan for it because those were busted after the wreck that it had been in. And I also had to buy a new bumper, which you can see the bumper is black, the car is white, and the car had a god-awful wrap on it that I have been working on removing, and I'm not done with it yet. As you can see, still lots of wrap up there on the roof, and I got a little bit left on the body, on the bumper, in the back hatch. So I still got wrap to remove on this thing. And originally I had purchased this car with the intention of just driving it to save gas, because my other daily driver is a 2015 Ford F-150, and it cost me like $20 just to get to work and back every day. So I bought this thing to save gas. That's my intentions with it, and was kind of thinking, I was watching this other guy on YouTube, and he started this video series called Flipping $400 to a Ferrari.
Last month I took on a challenge to take $400 and buy a Ferrari.
And his channel is Flying Wheels. I'll put a link up here to his channel. You can go check that out. But I got to thinking,
but what I'd really like to do is something extraordinary, something big, something mega, something copious, something capacious, something kajunga.
What if I made a video series called Flipping $725 or Flipping a box to a Lamborghini?
But I'll probably end up working at Great America, mopping up hurl and lung butter. Yeah.
So he's gone from $400 with his first car, and now he's up to this $30,000 Bentley Continental. I haven't seen what he's gonna sell that for. The video is, he was putting it in the auction, so just an idea that possibly maybe we can turn a shitbox into
new Lamborghini.
Let me show you what I've done to the shitbox to get it to where it is today. All right, so as you can see, the hood looks like terrible dog shit. You can see all the Bondo on it. This hood had hail damage from the salvage yard. It's the only hood I could find in town. They had hoods online, and they were like around $300. So this one with the hail damage was 65 bucks. I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot at bondoing and sanding down this hood and painting it. So I'm not done with it. I still gotta sand it down. We're gonna sand out all the Bondo and sand out everything. But for now, I just threw a coat of paint on it so I can still drive it to work. And I don't care if people judge me for the Bondo, the horrible Bondo job that is there. I think when I go to paint it, after sanding it down with my DA sander, it'll be looking a lot better. This grill was white. I painted it with a spray paint. And the bumper I got from Amazon for like, I can't even remember. I think it was like anywhere from 60 to 100 bucks, somewhere in that range. I just made a video on it the other day. So I should remember this, but I can never remember anything when I'm making a video. But anyways, so we got a new bumper. The inserts came out of the old bumper. Hold on a second. This engine is the same engine that's in Toyota Camrys. This is the newer, I think it's a 1.5 liter engine. Older Camrys had a timing belt in it, which I've heard bad stories about those, but this engine is new enough to where it has a timing chain in it. So this thing should run for another 50 to 100,000 miles easily. It runs great. Well, I shouldn't say it runs great. It starts great, starts perfect, awesome. So good at starting, starts every time. But when I got it, it wouldn't start at all. Well, come to find out, the alternator, which is right here, had been shoved back, and the belt adjustment is right here. The alternator slides on the adjustment, and that's what tightens the belt. So it was pushed back, so the belt wasn't even spinning, so the alternator wasn't charging the battery, and then the car wouldn't run. So it wouldn't run at all. So once I found that, I was like, oh, that's why it won't run. So fixed that, thing started up, ran great, or was running perfectly. And then, or actually, when I first got it, it wouldn't run. It would run very, very poorly. Coming to find out, there was a crack in the plastic intake manifold. So took good old JB Weld and covered the cracks. So now it runs. It won't die. It was stalling. Like the crack was letting in so much air that it would just stall the engine and it wouldn't run. So now it runs. Then I got it running. I drove it to work, drove it to the inspection station, passed the inspection. And then one day on my way home from work, it started to misfire. So I started getting the look around in here, took the starting fluid and sprayed it down and around here. And as you would expect, the RPMs kick up with the starting fluid. So that just proved it was a vacuum leak. So I got to looking at these hoses, and the old hoses, all of these hoses right here, they're all cracked like this. So to fix that, I went to Ace Hardware and picked up these rubber fuel lines, and they work just fine. So the car runs now, doesn't misfire anymore. But other than that, things driving good. Like I can drive to work and home, no problems, not gonna break down. So I replaced these hoses. I replaced the belt that drives the alternator belt. I replaced the cooling fan and the radiator. It also came with Mini Cooper wheels. These are not the original wheels that came on the Scion. I don't think, anyways. I know these are Mini Cooper wheels because I've looked them up on the internet and seen these ones for sale. And they're for a Mini Cooper. And the car actually came with these spacers behind the front wheel. And when I pulled the wheel off, I thought, what the heck? That's really strange. But what's even more strange is before I figured out it had spacers on it, I had broken one of these lug nut studs. I went to loosen the lug nut, and the stud broke off inside the lug nut.
What the hell is even that?
And I was like, what the heck? That's never happened to me. I was like, why did that just happen? So I pull the wheel off, the spacer comes falling out. And the reason that the lug nut had broken the stud is because it was only holding on to like that much of the threads. So with the spacers on here, the lug nuts were only gripping that much threads. So not safe at all. These wheels could have flown off. Somebody could have gotten a horrible accident. But I was trying to figure out, why the heck did they put spacers on these wheels? I don't understand. Well, it turns out without the spacers, the wheel would ride on the brake caliper bracket, which is right here. So this thing used to stick out further and it would rub on the back side of the wheel. So to fix that, I took my grinder and I just sanded down this piece right here until it cleared the wheel. And now it didn't, like, that doesn't affect anything. I just took material off of that bracket and now it clears the wheels. I did that on both sides and I don't need spacers anymore. And it's a lot safer because we're gripping a lot more threads on that stud. Don't need spacers anymore. I also had to buy one of these lug nut spline key things, 7 spline or something. Had to buy that thing, so that thing was like $8. So that was another problem that I thought I'd screwed myself when I bought this car, was the wheels rubbing on the calipers. Thought I was gonna have to get new wheels for this thing, but turns out I didn't, which is awesome. And I have spent hours and hours peeling the wrap off the car. Like, this whole fender was blue. This was all blue, 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 blue. There was blue on the tops of the doors and around the edges. But whoever had owned this car before me had ripped off whatever was right here on the doors. So whatever the company that had this car, it said like Wichita Magazines on it. They ripped off the part that said Wichita Magazine. You can see up here, it still says Wichita, kinda, but they ripped a bunch off up there too. Oh. What was really cool about this wrap is the Wichita skyline is on the bottom of this car. They're like wrapped around here. It was all the Wichita skyline, which was really cool. I was like, man, I wish I could have kept that on there, but Wichita's not that great anyways. The only thing we have to do here is buy crappy cars and fix them and work. So I'll go ahead and start her up for you. I also did an oil change on this car, new oil, new filter, that good stuff. So we got good oil in there now. So this thing is ready to run for a long time until the next oil change. Also replaced all the coolant with new Peak original equipment technology coolant. It's like the higher dollar stuff, so should be good in that department. So she's full on coolant. She's got a fresh oil change. We should be able to rock and roll for a while. Should be saving me tons of gas in this thing. I swear it's like comfier than any car I've ever owned. It's comfier than the BMW that I just got rid of. Like the bolsters on this seat, they're pretty nice. So not even in there. Like what the heck? I couldn't find the screws or the mounting hardware to mount this thing back behind the trim. So there is quite a bit of room in here, which I like about it. And it's like driving a go-kart. I kind of feel like I'm in a go-kart, but driving it on the road. But I do want to sell this thing. I want to get another car from the auction. I just want to keep buying them and fixing them and driving them and then selling them. We'll see. I'm gonna put this thing on Marketplace right now as it is for probably $2,000. See if I can get any buyers. Maybe $2,500 or best offer. I feel like I'm probably at $1,600 in this, or maybe $1,700 in this car. I mean, there's still a lot of issues with this car, but it is a running and driving car. It's really good on gas, and with gas prices the way they are, maybe I could get $2,500. I don't know. Maybe. I've never lost money on an auction car. Like I've yet to lose money on one. I've lost money on cars that I bought off Marketplace from other people, but not from the auction yet. We're gonna try to list this thing for at least $2,000. Gonna be $2,500 or best offer, and then after we sell this, I'll be looking for another car. I think that's gonna be it for today's video. Thanks for checking it out. Hopefully we can trade this thing up or flip this thing up to a Lamborghini someday in the future. It might take a couple years, but make sure you hit that subscribe button. So here in like 5 months, when I make another video after I sell this thing, you might see it. That's probably how long it'll take to sell this thing. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how long it takes. But yeah, thumbs up, hit that subscribe, and peace.